Zero Mark here. Happy New Year, everybody. Time for an Assault on Lupo Colossus event preview. They've been settling in on event design. They haven't made many changes to the Slayer events or the Commander events recently, so everything's been pretty static. This is going to be the same. They brought the Frenzy bosses back. I still wish that they would adjust these a little bit because they tend to be too hard for lower level guilds, and the lower level or the members of the guild that don't have great attack decks usually feel totally left out because there's nothing they can do against them because they're too powerful. I still think that there is a great way for them to make this better by having the frenzy bosses spawn at low level, and then each time you beat one, the level increments dramatically so that you could really get that feeling of a frenzy of killing lots of bosses, and there'd be roles for the lower level guild members to play to kill off all the early bosses. And I just think that you could adjust this and make it really neat, but right now it's kind of mediocre to not so great. So I feel like these event previews have become kind of redundant. Like I'm saying the same thing over and over again because I'm going to say the similar things about this particular deck. High base stats, but the event skills themselves are pretty, or the battle skills themselves are pretty terrible. Let's look at the main event hero. Create 4 Fire Power Gem 1s and then increase Fire Slayer attack by up to 600% of recovery for 2 turns. So 600% of recovery. So if we look at this particular guy, and we say he's got 1,648 recovery, 600% bonus on that, gives you the equivalent of about a 75% attack bonus. So at its max, this bonus here is giving you about a 75% attack bonus for 2 turns. And 75% attack bonus isn't bad. It's better than the Ultra Rare hero from a couple events ago was giving you 44% attack boost at its max. So 75% is definitely better than 44. But that's for attacker heroes. If you're using warrior heroes, you're going to get significantly less of a boost than that because they have a lot less recovery. So depending on the type of card it is, you're going to get different boosts. But attacker boost, which 3 of the 4 cards in this deck are attackers, you're getting a 75% attack boost if you can get your Fire Slayer intensity to 300. If you only have it at 150 at base, if we take that 1648, give it a 150% boost, and to attack, we get a 20% attack boost approximately. So at base, you're getting 20% attack. If you max it out, you're getting 75 to 80% attack boost. So at its max, not bad. At its lowest level, just okay. So you need to be generating some intensity for this skill to really work. The X13 is exactly like all of the X13s have been of late. It's create 8 Firepower Gem 4s. Last week it was 6. Cost 50 intensity, so there's that intensity cost again. They've kind of doubled down on this and figured this is the way that they're going to be doing things going forward. That intensity cost may not be an issue once we've cycled through all these events a couple of times so that you can pick up relics that generate Fire Slayer intensity, but you only get a new one of these every 10 weeks. So it's going to take a year before you've been through 5 of these events to get 5 different relics that boost intensity. So maybe these things will be useful later on, so maybe collect it and keep it in the back burner, because by the time another Fire Slayer event rolls around 2 or 3 events from now, you might be able to, or 2 or 3 cycles from now, you might be able to pull this out and put it back in with some other stuff and use it. But that intensity cost is just too high to make multiple copies of this usable. And so just nothing that's exciting about that card. I mean, it's okay. It'll be good to use with some others, but you have to generate intensity to get it. And another attacker type hero. So if you have your main event hero boosting, you're going to get a 20 to 80% attack boost from that. The support card, like all the support cards have been for a while, has a completely useless battle skill on its own. Like, it's completely and utterly useless on its own. It's only valuable as an intensity generator. So you get the 10 Fire Slayer intensity on attacks. That's the only value of this card. Because its battle skill creates 6 fire gems once every 3 turns, which is just nothing. And then increases Fire Slayer recovery by 250% for 2 turns. Okay, so it increases Fire Slayer recovery, but that on its own is nothing. The only benefit to this is the synergy that it can have with the main event hero. So if you use this skill first, increase recovery by 250%, and then you go back and use the main hero's skill to boost attack by a percentage of recovery. Well, if you boosted the recovery to 2.5 times, and then you use that 2.5 times and you boost that again by 600, because for this 6-star version of the main event hero, it's at 600%. So if you get the max boost from both, so 250 from the first one and 600% from the second one, then you're talking an actual boost. You're talking for an attack-based hero, if you have the 2 max boosts, you're talking a 200% attack boost. So if you're using the support cards and the main event hero, and you use them in the right order, you get a 200% attack boost. And if you have multiple copies of the support hero and multiple copies of the main event hero, you may be getting even more boost. It's unclear on whether those boosts stack or not. I would assume they do, and if that's the case, then you could be getting 400% attack boost, which, given the high base attack of these cards and the empowered damage, is going to give them huge base levels. But in all of that, you're going to have then hugely high attack, but you're going to have no gems to match to get anything. So you're going to need an outside card to potentially generate some actual gems. I mean, I guess if you are using 2 of these and 2 of the support heroes, you're going to get 12 fire gems on the board. And 8 of them are going to turn into fire power gem 1s, because you have to use them in the order where you boost your recovery first and then you boost attack based on recovery. So you're going to end up with 12 fire gems on the board, 8 of them power gem 1s. So that's not going to do a lot to give you a big match to get huge damage. You'll need something else to give you some extra fire gems along the way. So finding a different fire gem generator is going to be useful. If you have the X13 and you've got your intensity at max to make all this stuff work, then you're going to end up with 16 fire gems and 16 fire gems, so still not a board full, but enough that you could do a bunch of damage, because given that you're going to be boosting base damage by a whole lot, you could do some serious damage with this deck. But, okay, and then we need to look at the ultra rare hero. We haven't looked at the ultra rare hero yet. The ultra rare hero, like for the past few weeks, is interesting, but nothing that makes me want to go chase it, because here you're having creates 2 fire gem, power gem 2s, and attacks for up to 80,000% attack. This is the 5-star. So the 6-star version does more than that, and the nuke is higher. And there's a heal for 1% of the attack amount. That's really the juice in this particular card, because if you're having a cooldown of 5 turns and you have a 1-turn nuke every 5 turns, that's kind of not very useful. So the heal is the part that's useful, because this is the only heal in this deck. This is the only thing that's going to give you any sort of health recovery. So in the longer battles, you're going to need this card for heal, but you're going to be doing a bunch of damage based on empowered and everything else, so maybe you can do without the heal and it won't be that important. But but this card, just, there's nothing in it that makes me say, oh, I want to spend a lot of gems and I want to buy even more gems so that I can get this and build this event deck to make it work. So like all of the decks of late, it's just not that interesting to me. There's nothing there that makes me want to go chase this deck down and say, oh, this is an amazing deck. I want to put it together for my team so that I can have it and use it in the future. It'll be useful for this event, but beyond this event, I mean, you have to use, like, the support hero is useless without the main event hero, and the main event hero isn't that great without the support hero, and you can't use any of it without the intensity that you can't generate yet. So just there's nothing here that gets me too terribly excited. So overall, I think I'm going to use an old Fire Slayer deck. I might try dumping in a couple of these cards just to see if their high base attack is good, is useful when I have my other deck filling the board with power gems. So we'll see how that works. But overall, another kind of mediocre deck that I'm not going to chase in the tiniest least little bit. I'll again be spending almost 0 gems on this event, maybe 1,000 gems to pick up the relics so that I can start collecting all of these relics with these different intensities. But overall, probably not spending any gems at all on this event. And I haven't been for the past few weeks. There's been nothing that's been kind of sucking me in and saying, oh, I really want to get this, because the decks themselves seem pretty only useful for the current event. But I hope that you have fun playing the Assault on Lupo Colossus event this weekend. I'm probably going to be going at it relatively hard because I've got a pretty good Fire Slayer deck. So I hope that it works out. I hope that you have fun, and I hope that you have a happy new year. Until next time.